Hey guys, welcome back to PJ's POV. I used to love to be able to add little songs here, but since I can, I'm just gonna tell you the song that I would put for today's episode, and it would be "So What" by Pink. So what? I'm still a rock star. That song is my song because I feel like I'm a person that I do what the fuck I want. Like, just to put it lightly, like I really never had to really answer to people per se, and I really always just did what I wanted to do, regardless of what other people think, my grandma think, this one think. At some point you have to say to yourself, you have to decide, are you living your life or are you living the life your parents expected from you? Because those are not the same thing. They really are not. I feel like when you're young, you hear like you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. No, I don't want you to do this, I want you to do that. For instance, you're supposed to go to college. And listen, I'm not saying don't go to college. Please go to college if that's what you really want to do. But sometimes I remember hearing like parents or students say like, my parents expect me to like go to college, become a doctor, or marry a doctor, marry a lawyer. So if there was a guy that, for instance, was an artist or did something else that the parents didn't agree with, then the kids could not date them. And I find that's a little bit, but it's not my culture, not my tradition, but I still feel like people should be able in life to do what makes them happy. Like, follow the path that you want to follow. Your parents bring you into this world, they got you this far, but I feel like the rest of it should be up to you. And it's important for you to say to yourself, like, is this truly what I want to be doing? Or is this what my mom wants from me? Is this what my dad wants from me? Am I doing what I want to do, or am I trying to make my family proud? Am I trying to do what my family expects of me? Because listen, it's okay to be honest with yourself. It's okay if that's what, up to this point, that's what you had to do. Because sometimes that's honestly what got us this far, right? I'm so sorry. My phone is doing something. Okay. It got you this far, but at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not where your family expects you to be. Where do you see yourself? I feel like sometimes we do what the crowd wants us to do because we want to be liked. We want to be understood. We want to have the same shoes, the same clothes, go do the same things, go to the same clubs, etc., because our friends, our peers want us to do it. But what about what you want? I know people that when I was going to school, they used to do drugs, peer pressure. You know, they would have sex with multiple men, peer pressure. And sometimes you look back at your life and you regret a lot of things. Listen, I look back at my life and I regret a lot of things. I look back at my life and I regret a lot of choices that I didn't make, But I've always been a person that I marched to the beat of my own drum, like majority of my life. And that's one of the reasons why I think people can't stand me. And when I say people, I mean family, I mean friends, I mean, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, they're like, because I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be an it girl. And if I am, it's because I'm doing things that are authentically myself. I don't want to have things just because everyone has them, or any of those things. Like, you have to reach to a point in your life where you're doing things that make your soul happy. At the end of the day, when you're lying in your bed, when you're about to close your eyes and you think to yourself, yeah, I had a good day today. um I feel like you realize at a point that you don't fit into a mold. You don't fit into the place that your parents want you to fit into. I love people that say, I went to law school for like 4 years and then I decided afterwards, fuck that. I want to be an electrical engineer. Good for you. Or I just want to travel the world. Or I just want to, I don't know, become a veterinarian or whatever. Good for you. Do what makes your heart happy. I feel like it's always school, job, stability, success, and honestly, it works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone, because sometimes people will sit in a job and just having that stability makes them happy. But there's other people that they're not doing what makes their heart happy. I'm guilty of this. And they feel it in their core. They feel it in their soul. Me personally, I wouldn't necessarily say what I'm doing now is what I truly want to be doing. Listen, I love cooking. Do I like working in a job where I currently work? Absolutely not, because it's not even cooking the type of food or the things that I like. It's not a cuisine that I like. It's not a, like, the creativeness that I like. I feel like I'm a creative. I love to experiment with things. And here they don't do that. Here they're like chop, chop, chop together. That's it. Sometimes you think to yourself, how did you come up with this idea? How did you come up with this? Did you taste it together for you to think that it makes sense? You know what I mean? Like, I'm always home here experimenting. It's important for you to, if you are a creative, you're always experimenting. That's my type of thing. So, and I feel like it can start to feel suffocating when it's not your path. It can start to feel like every day I just get up, I do this, I do that, I'm not happy. Honestly, a lot of days I feel like that. Honestly, a lot of days I'm like, but one thing that I can always say is that I might not be at the job where I want to be right now, but one thing I can say is that I do genuinely stuff that I want to do with my life. I will tell somebody, like, for instance, one time I was telling my grandma, I'm going to go dye my hair. She was like, no, don't go dye your hair. What do you think I did? I dyed my hair because I want to dye my hair. When I wanted to pierce my nose when I was like, I think 17 or 18, my grandma was like, no, you don't need to be piercing up your face. Mind you, she had piercings all on her ear. You don't need to be piercing up your face. What did you think I did? I went and got a piercing because it's my life. It's my body, Like, I've never had to, oh, my mother don't like this and my father didn't like this. No, I didn't have a mother or father, But still, I had a grandma, and I'm like, I'm going to do it still. If I want to cut off all my hair right now, I'll do it, It doesn't matter. Just because it's a good life, it doesn't mean it's the right life for you. It doesn't mean because the things around you, they feel good, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right fit for you. I love people that, yeah, they just march to the beat of their own drum. They just do whatever they want. The thing that I've realized is parents often project fear, not intention, not harm. For instance, when I was moving here to the Netherlands, my grandma was like, oh, it's gonna be really hard, da 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 da. And she was here already, so she's speaking from experience. She's speaking from what she knows, of course. La la la, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Or if I wanted to do something, someone would be like, oh no, I don't think you should do this. Sometimes I've heard stories where a child wanted to, for instance, go off to college, and a parent was like, no, why don't you do something here? Da, 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 da. It's fair. And a lot of times, I'm going to go so far as to say this, I don't care whose feelings it hurts. A lot of times, your family don't want to see you do things that they didn't do. Because it's unnatural to them. It's something strange to them, I remember telling my grandmother of the ways guys treats me, and she would be like, my grandmother to pass, and she would be like, oh no, that's the way it is. No, that's not the way it is. That's not the way it goes, and that's not something I'm gonna accept. Sometimes your family don't want to see you doing things just for the matter of they didn't do it. They didn't go to college, ain't important to them then. They didn't do this, okay, you need to do it neither. What you need to do that for? It's always like when you do stuff that's unnatural to them, or they don't see it as something that they accomplished, it starts to become like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. And I wouldn't say it's a matter of fear. I sometimes feel like it's a matter of envy, because they settled, they did stuff that were told to them to do. So when you want to do something different, it's like, how dare you want to do something different than what we thought that you were going to do. I saw a tweet the other day and it made me laugh because that's exactly what it said. It said, how dare you? Your family looking at you like you're doing something different than what they did for their generations. I am not going to be poor. I'm not going to live in debt. I'm not going to do unnecessary things. I'm not going to stay with a man that beats me. I'm not going to stay with a man that harm me left, right, and center. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to live in a poor people mindset, always mention. We're not going to do that, And it's important to understand that you can do what you want to do. This is your life. This is not your mother, your father, your uncle, your aunt, your sister, nobody, They have cultural norms, things that in this culture is normal, or family expectations. Me, I be doing what I want. I could care less about what my family does, And I feel like a lot of times you want the safety versus the fulfillment that you're going to get. And sometimes I want to say 95% of the times Choose the fulfillment. Because if you do what you love in this life, you will always feel fulfilled. You will always feel good about what you're doing if you do what you love. And the thing is like a lot of times is like it's gonna take a while to get to the place where you make an actual living off of it, but start. Even if it's a hobby, even if it's something that you do on the side, start. You know? Again, I was never the popular one. I always spoke my mind, even up to this day. I know people around me that, listen, probably beat me up if they could. Because when I say something, they're like, me, I gonna speak my mind. Go hide in a corner, love. Go hide in a corner. One thing I'm gonna say is what's on my chest. And I spent majority of my life having to, keep it in and stuff like that. And I always know, my grandmother always says this, I'm my mother's child because I'm extremely outspoken. Me, I'm very soft, kind-hearted, all of those things. But I speak my mind. I tell you how I feel. And if I'm mean, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. If I'm mean, okay. Because one thing about me is I'm observant. And if I tell you something, it's because I'm telling it to you because I paid attention to stuff enough to observe to tell you what I have to tell you. I've been misunderstood. I've been judged. I've been labeled too much. I've been labeled doing too much. Oh yeah, do normal. What is do normal? Ik wil die normal zijn. One thing about me, I want you to say I'm normal. I don't fit into no box, Like, no. I'll go to a job and I'll easily tell them, yeah, y'all, this place is chaotic. And they always label out, you always have something negative to say. No, I say something negative when there's something negative. And is it negative if I'm speaking the truth? Is it negative or am I doing too much if I'm telling you that you're settling? Am I doing too much if I'm telling you that you're a pick me? Am I doing too much if I'm telling you back the hell off? That's not doing too much. That's speaking truth. And there's a difference. Up here it's very common where they would say like people are like, ja, Nederlandse mensen zijn echt brutaal. No, they're rude. No, what did they say? No, they say that they're direct. Nee, ze zijn echt brutaal. They are rude, very rude. Because Caribbean people, we can be very blunt. And I'm always very blunt. I'm not going to beat around the bush for you, love. We're never going to do that. I don't care what you think about it. I'm never going to beat around the bush for you. And I think when you're that type of person, you always get labeled too much. I've always been an outspoken person. When I was going to high school, girls couldn't stand me based on the fact that I did nothing. I just be in my corner. I don't try to fit in. I don't want to be the nerdy kid, the popular kid, the this kid, the that kid. I just be in a corner. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I like Hannah Montana. I like all of these things mixed together. I ain't trying to be no clique. I am my own clique, And when you're that type of person, in your family, in your friends, in your workplace, you always get labeled too much. Sometimes I'll have arguments at work because I don't want to really sit and chat about surface level conversations. Ja, doe normaal. Waarom moet je je oordoppels in? Because it's my break and I can do what the fuck I want, So it's important in this life to do what the hell you want to do. Don't worry about people. Don't worry about what people tell you. Don't worry about what they think. What does that got to do with it? If the world ends today or tomorrow, what did you do with their opinion? What did their opinion do for you? You cannot take it to the bank and deposit it. It does nothing to your life more than bring you unnecessary stress. So don't. And let me tell you something. This is the cost of shrinking yourself. You lose confidence, and this happens to a lot of women, a lot, where they become like, they stop doing this, they stop doing that, they stop doing this, they stop doing that, they show up to work, they just, exist, they go around their family, they just exist, they don't have their own personality, they don't have any confidence, and I've been there, they feel stuck. You start to build resentment, heavy resentment, whether it's towards your kids, towards your husband, towards your life, So stop worrying so much about what everyone thinks. Do what you want. I've literally seen people who's done what their father want, their mother want, that this one done, and they talk about it. Oh yeah, I wish I would have done different. I wish I would have done different than what my mother wanted or my father wanted or whatever. So do different. Me, I'm gonna say, like, for my kids, when I have my kids have the mind of their own. I'm bringing them into this world. That does not mean, like, when they're 18, who is me to tell you what path you should follow? If you want to be a doctor, good for you. If you want to be a policeman, good for you. If you decide that you want to become an art teacher, also good for you. Good for you what you want to do with your life. I just want to see you prosper. I just want to see you happy and successful. But a lot of parents, their problem is they want to see their children successful doing what they want. They want to see their children happy doing what they want. So they want their children to go on. This is a straight path. This is a path I want you to follow. Do not go over there. It's always good as long as they're doing what they want them to do. As long as you decide, I'm not doing what you want me to do, all of a sudden then you're labeled too much. You're the black sheep. Da 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 da. I've always been the black sheep. And with my grandma, with my aunt, I've always been the black sheep. Because first of all, I don't like nobody. Like, I'll tell you. Like, I'm just a person that I'll tell you what I have to tell you. And I've always been that person. But to be quite honest, today, it makes me happy. Because when I hear people tell stories about, oh yeah, I couldn't do this because my mother didn't want or my father didn't want, I be doing what I want. When you stay small to make others comfortable, you slowly lose yourself. And years from now, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the line, you'll look back and you'll think to yourself, why didn't I do this? And the one thing that you don't want is you reach 50 years, 60 years looking back at your life and you think to yourself, I wish I would have not done that. I wish I would have followed what I wanted to follow. I wish I would have gone to school because I wanted to go to school. I wish I would have, whatever it is that you wanted to do. I wish I would have done that because I wanted to. I wish I would have followed the path I wanted to follow. Ooh, I look cute. Just wanted to say that. Like, look at me. I can't believe I spent years being so insecure about my face. Like, phew. Continuing back to what I was saying. Choose your own path. You don't need permission to take up space. You don't need permission to do things that you want to do. Do what you want to do. You don't need permission from nobody. Stop asking people, what do you think about this, that? I said it in another podcast episode. Do what the hell you want to do. If you decide today you want to cut off all your hair, then you do it. If you decide today, like, you want to pick up and you want to go, save your money though before you do these type of things. But please just do things that make your heart happy. If you think that that's a choice that you need to make, and sometimes you get a calling, you get a push from the universe, from God, whatever you believe in, to do something, do it. Follow your own heart. You cannot disappoint people and still be a good person. Let me tell you something. When you're doing what you want to do for yourself, you're going to disappoint a lot of people. And I always say, good. Let me disappoint you a little bit more. I was a child that I excelled in school. My academics was always great, right? But I'm the child that I'll probably disappoint you because I'm going to do what I want to do. Even as a teenager, as a like in my 20s, I just do what I want. I just do what I want. And does it disappoint people? Absolutely. Absolutely disappoint people. But does it make me sad? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do what I want to do, and that makes me happy. You cannot, those two things do not coincide. You cannot you cannot disappoint people. You can disappoint people and still be a good person. Because sometimes, and my fiance asked me this recently, we were talking about a topic, and I said that I feel like people make me the villain for something, and he said, but it seems like you make yourself the villain. And to be quite honest, sometimes I do. I label myself a bad person because I speak up for myself sometimes, because I say what the hell is on my mind, and because I don't stand for bullshit. But does that make me a bad person? No. That makes me a person who's true to myself, who stays true to myself. And nothing is wrong with that. Your life is yours. My life is mine, And if anything that you're going to do in this world, if one thing that you're going to walk this earth and continue to do is speak up for yourself, do stuff for yourself, do what you want to do, go places you want to go, whether you have a crowd there, whether you have the full support of your family, do what the hell you want to do. Because at the end of the day, your family did what they want to do. They lived their life already. Your friends doing what they want to do. Why are you sitting down not doing what you want to do? Why are you not speaking up for yourself? Why are you not putting boundaries and all of those things in place? Do what you got to do in this life. Disappointing others is sometimes the price of not abandoning yourself. Disappointing others is the price of not getting rid of your boundaries, you know? Because let me tell you something, you can't do both. Sometimes people want to please people too much, and so they just keep everything in, you know? I ain't trying to please nobody. I ain't trying to please somebody, buddy. Like, listen, I'm gonna tell you what I gotta tell you. For sure, I'm gonna tell you what I gotta tell you. And if it offends you, so be it. At the end of your life, no one is going to live with your regrets but you. Your mother, your father, your uncle, your aunt, your sister, they're not going to be there sitting in a chair with you, living your regrets. So the question to you is today, whose life are you building right now? Whose life are you really forming? Whose path are you following? Because if you're not following your own, if you're not speaking up for yourself, if you're not doing stuff that you want to do, who do you think is going to regret it? You know, if you're not looking at yourself and saying, look, this not working for me no more, I need to do this, regardless of what social media tells you, regardless of what your family tells you, regardless of what your friends doing, do what works for you. Thank you guys for jumping in. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Bye.